Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. Welcome to ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, the podcast and posse. I'm your host, Tiffany, and we are going to make sure that you stop repelling all of this cash that's available to you. There's so much cash out there that it is going to be a record-breaking November, December, and January with online spending. It's going to be over $910 billion. So it's going to be up 12%. Even though we're coming off of pandemic times, there's still countries that are locked down. There's less travel happening, right? Yeah, we're a little more opened up, but there's still a lot of businesses suffering, manufacturing issues, shipping delays. If you haven't noticed, the price of goods is much higher. Gas is higher. Yet there is an abundance of cash. There is more than enough to go around. It is everywhere. As I'm recording this, I am currently at the beach house in one of the most exclusive and expensive beaches in the entire world. And I love doing these morning, and I'll do evening ones too, of these abundant walks. And you can do abundance walks no matter where you're at. You could be living in the ghetto and do an abundance walk. You take your ass to a rich neighborhood or somewhere that's beautiful. It could be a botanical gardens or a park you love, or go near a pond or water or mountains, whatever resembles abundance to you, and walk around. Maybe it's the fancy mall. You guys know what I'm talking about? There's like different levels of malls, in my opinion. There's like the ghetto mall where you're like, they have all like the cheap ass stores, and the stores where things like the clothes smell flammable, but you can get a pair of like yoga pants for $10. And there's like random nail salons and like places to get waxed in there. There's those malls. Then there's like the mid-tier malls where they've got like, your basic stuff where it's like, there's a solid like Victoria's Secret and a Bath and Body Works. But then you've got like the fancy pants malls where there's like the Louis Vuitton, the Chanel, the Tiffany and Company. Take your ass to that mall, okay? That's another place you can walk around. So a lot of you are like, God, I'm in the middle of a cornfield, or I don't live somewhere that has a lot of abundance, or I'm currently in a third world country. Well, there's nature everywhere. So look at abundance, not just in cash and brand names and in beautiful homes, right? Look at it like where you're seeing a lot of greenery, mountains, openness, freedom. For some people, even going to a park and seeing kids playing and giggling and being able to be creative and have fun and play, that could feel abundant to you. And that could really annoy some of you. So walking here, right, there's so much abundance here. It's insane. And it just reminds me of that. That's part of why I wanted to be on this beach, because I know how much abundance there is. And for any of these people to afford to live here, whether they rent or they own, they had to believe in themselves enough to do something. Now, I'm sure there's some people, yes, that married rich or inherited money or whatnot. But truly, the majority of the people I've met here, they've started companies, they've believed in themselves, they went and got advanced degrees, they made things happen. And it's just a beautiful energy to be around. But I wanted to start that out with an exercise that you can do. So I've been doing a morning abundance walk and sometimes morning and evening, depending on how much my brain is in overthinking, analyzing mode, which, oh my God, when we are going to the next level in our lives, we're going after something scary. You're finally like not going to toe dip on something. You're going to try something new, try something different, actually show up 100% as you online versus the job interview version of yourself. Maybe you're starting a podcast. Maybe you're starting a new company. Maybe you're coming out with a product, right? For me, as you might know, I had a beautiful 2-day live mastermind experience, and now I am offering a 6-month container to work with me and have me by your side for 6 months. You cannot fail if you have me by your side for 6 months. Number one, you'll be held accountable. Number two, you'll know exactly what you need to do and how to do it. Number three, we're going to be able to manage your mindset, your meltdowns, and all the subconscious gymnastics that occur to prevent you from going for the damn thing. And as long as you do your part and show up, I'm 100% confident that you cannot fail as long as you're in this container. I have it by application only because I highly curate my group experiences like this, because I want to make sure that the maximum 12 people in here all complement one another. You're all at similar levels in your business. So it's not like you're getting someone who's brand new, totally new, and is stuck on what their niche is. And there's nothing wrong if that's where you're at, but that's not what this mastermind is for, right? You can't be at that level. You have to know who you want to serve. And I would really like for you to have made some money doing it. You might not be making anywhere near what you want, but you have the desire to scale it to multiple 6 figures, and you know what you want to help people with, and you have clarity, and you've at least tried doing this on your own where, you know, you've had some success, but not anything anywhere near what you want, and you want more help. And you know that you need to set yourself up for success if you want to be able to have the big results and the big cash and the big things and the big freedom that you say you want. It's not going to happen with toe dipping. Let me tell you, it's just not. And that's one of the abundance lessons here. You know, we're talking about the manifestation lesson you need to learn before this year is over. So 2022 can be the most abundant year of your life. And I was going to give you just one lesson, but there's really, you know, a couple weaved in here. And one of them is playing small and not having your actions that align with your desires is not going to work. You're basically telling the universe, God, your angels, your spirit guides, all the above. You're basically saying, hey, I'm going to do as little as fucking possible and stay in my comfort zone, maybe toe dip a little out of it, but I want to see all the clients, and I want to have people buying this, and I want people to do the downloads, and I want to grow my email list, and I want to get this, and I want people to buy my product, and I want all this, but I'm going to just, you know, I'm not going to invest, you know, that much money because that's, you know, I'm not comfortable with that. Or I don't want to, there's no way I'm going to do a post every day. I don't have time for that. You are negotiating with a power that is so far greater than you. And it's like the universe, right? Your angels, God, or they're going, okay, honey. Yeah. Let's see how that works for you. That doesn't work like that. The law of attraction does not work where it's like, hey, I'm going to toe dip, and then you, universe, are going to highly, highly reward me. That is not how that works. You need to take big action to get big results. So part of the reason why you're not getting the cash, the clients, maybe it's relationships, new friendships, maybe it's tangible things, Like you want a certain car or a house, or maybe it's experiences, whatever it is. The reason none of your shit is taking off is because you're tricking yourself into believing you're doing all the things, but you're really not doing any of the big things. I really want you to hear that. Doing all the things and being busy and trying this and trying that. And I've done this course and I've done this group coaching program. Oh, and I've hired a coach once. And you're tricking yourself into believing you're doing the big things just because you're busy and just because you've tried stuff. And I commend you for doing those things. I'm not trying to take away from that. But you're not doing the really big, scary things, the stuff that you go, oh my God, what if this doesn't work? Oh my God, that's a lot of money. Oh my God, that's more money than I've ever spent. If it doesn't make you feel like that, where you're like, oh my gosh, then you're not going big enough. And there's no way around it. Believe me, I tried for 5 years to do the kind of toe dipping and, I'll hire like a contractor to help me over here. And I did a free master class, and I'd sign up for like a conference or something like that. I was toe dipping, wanting the big results, and I did not see it for myself. And if I sound weird right now, it's because I'm recording this standing up on the kitchen island, because I've not set up a podcast studio here. Like, let's be real. There is a room for it, and it's not happening. So I'm standing up because I'm tired of sitting. I'm in probably the most awkward position recording it. So if I sound strange, that's why. So I want you to think about that. Get honest with yourself. Have you really taken any action that's really scared you? And just because you've taken maybe an action or two that were really scary, that doesn't mean you're done. You've got to keep doing it. I'm in a constant state of being uncomfortable and slightly scared at all times. The difference where I'm at, between where you're at and where I'm at, is I've become comfortable with the uncomfortable. It's familiar to me to be uncomfortable and a little shitting my pants at all times. I am a little shitting my pants at all times. Like, I don't know how this is going to work. How am I going to, like, right now we're doing planning for my big Black Friday thing I'm doing. There's a lot of moving parts. Things aren't put together. I know it'll come together. I don't quite know how yet. And it's uncomfortable, and it'll happen. And my brain races all over the place, and I'm probably on 6 hours of sleep because I woke up with like my brain spinning at 5 a.m. That's okay. That's normal. And if I didn't feel that way, I feel that way because I have so much on the line. I have 3 coaches myself. I have thousands and thousands of dollars going out to all of that. I have tens of thousands of dollars going out to people I pay who work on my team, and then all the money to run all the platforms and all the systems and all the automations and those things. So that's where it's scary. But you know what? That also makes me show the hell up. With that being said, if you need and what will help propel you to the next level so you can stop messing around and toe dipping, you're going to want to apply to my 6-month mastermind. We start December 1st on purpose so that you can set yourself up for maximum abundance in 2022. You can go to my link in my bio on Instagram at ProjectME with Tiffany for the application. You can DM me for it, but it's right in the link in my bio. As long as you're in my free secret posse email list, we're sending emails out with the link in there as well. If for whatever reason you're not on Instagram, and it's as simple as that. And then we can determine if this is the best fit for you and your energy and time and resources. Because I'm not taking anyone just to take anyone. It doesn't do anything for me to do that, right? I want to make sure that you're going to get a great ROI on working with me. And I know exactly where you need to be in order to get that. So we can best determine that by applying. All right. So here's the other lesson I want you to hear. You got 2 today. Or maybe there's 3 in here somehow. I don't know. You're hearing what you're supposed to be hearing. Is that there is judgment that you are having around the things that you want. Whether it is calling in certain friendships, love relationships, cash, physical things, cars, houses, trips, experiences. You have judgments around these things, around wanting certain levels of cash. It's judgments that you've inherited from generations, from stuff you've heard your parents say about other people. Maybe just the social circles you're in, people say certain things. And I'm going to give you an example. When I was thinking about where I was going to go with having my main house go under a major luxury remodel, I knew I wasn't available for being in the house with that much chaos going on. Like I can't do it. Like I'm stuttering even thinking about it. Like not available for it, not happening. My home environment and where I am day to day must be a sanctuary and a safe space for me. So I knew I wasn't available for that. Good Lord, does anyone else's dog, when they go to get on an important call, record a podcast, do anything, go absolutely nuts, but then they're like quiet the rest of the time? I've had to pause this recording twice to deal with that. Very annoying. So I knew I wasn't available, which is important for you to know what you're not available for. And it's just as important to know what you are available for. So that's another exercise you can do. You can think about that on your abundance walk. And I was like, okay, where am I going to live? What are the options, right? What feels good to me? I could do a hotel, but given how long this remodel is going to take, 4 or 5 months, a hotel could get wildly expensive. So I wanted to think about where would I be that'd feel really good to me and really abundant. And I allowed myself to think bigger about it, where I was like, let's just say like we don't think about money. We just don't think about it for a moment. I was like, well, I would want to have an oceanfront beach house in Manhattan Beach. I was open to 3 beaches in the South Bay area because the beaches are incredible here. And I knew it was a really abundant area. I used to live here in my mid-20s. I lived down here. I probably don't remember too much of it. Let's just say that. But I used to walk the same strand and dream of having a house. It's on the Strand. So for those of you not familiar with it, it's almost, it's like the street that's in front of all the walk street, not cars, but walk street that's in front of all of the homes that are oceanfront. And you can walk for miles and miles and miles while looking at the beach and these gorgeous houses and beautiful flowers and palm trees and dogs and all the fun stuff. I was like, I would want that. That's what I would want. And then, of course, what comes up in my mind? Oh my God, Tiffany, that's going to be wild. That could even cost you $60,000, $70,000 to do that. That's egregious. Who do you think you are? I mean, yes, you make a lot of money, but you're not making like 10 million a year. I mean, calm your titties. This is how my ego, my inner critic, inner bully, whatever you want to call it, talks to me. I know you guys have the same voice. It's nasty. And it's not that my brain doesn't talk to me like that. It does. It's just I have tools and discipline to manage it. And it's like, okay, I hear you. I get what you're saying. But let's just try this on because, why can't we make it work? Why can't we look at a way to make it work? And of course, my ego's like, oh, yeah, you think you're going to make that work? Like, that's really extravagant. And it's not exactly like a 10-mile drive from the house. Then you're going to have to move all of your shit out. So just started thinking of all the negatives and all the problems, right? In order to keep me from not doing it. And instead I was like, no, let's just look. So I started by, looking at Airbnb and VRBO and different boutique luxury rental places to see what is possible, what felt good. I mean, there's places on here that are $50,000 a month. I was like, this is wild. Then I saw ones that were 30, and then they didn't take dogs. And I was like, ugh. And then I started looking in Malibu because I was like, maybe Malibu's less. They were $100,000 a month. Isn't that wild? I'm like, okay, that's pushing it. $100,000 a month for a rental. Like, I don't even know what to say about that. And I was feeding into the story that my ego was telling me, right? Which is telling me it can't happen. You can't do this. Who do you think you are? So what do you think was happening because I was in that energy? Even though I was combating it with, well, let's just see. Let's do some research, which is great that I was doing it. But still that voice was winning. So, of course, what was I attracting? I was attracting roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. Many of you are getting roadblock after roadblock. You're asking for signs. You're asking to get clients. You're asking to get engagement on your stuff. You're asking to get downloads. You're asking to get cash, all the stuff. And it's not happening. It's like, I need a break. I need a break. I need a sign. And it's because you're not in a state of, no, I will figure out a way to make this work. This can happen. That's the difference. Not, well, I don't think this can happen. It probably can't happen, but I might as well check. Well, that's not really an abundant mindset now, is it? And I'm not saying lie to yourself, but you need to get into that sheer determination of, no, you know what? I'm a resourceful, tenacious person. I've made a lot of interesting things work in my life. And I'm going to find a way. I'm determined to find a way to make this work. And I feel all of you could try that on, right? At least saying, no, I'm determined to make this work. Because you're not saying, I for sure, without a doubt, am going to make this work. Your ego might not like that and say, bitch, please. But if you're determined to, that's something within your control. And I was determined to. And I also was open. So now what happens is law of attraction. The universe goes, okay, so she's in that vibe where she's determined to make this work. Let's co-conspire. Let's help her make this work. And it happens in little subtle ways, right? Like I started doing the researching and then I remembered the well-known rental company because I've not rented like an apartment or a place in like a million years. I buy my properties. So I was like, I'm not super familiar with renting. And then I remembered something came across. It was an ad or something, and it was for Westside Rentals, which is a very popular Los Angeles apartment rental agency versus using like apartments.com or something. And I was like, oh, maybe Westside Rentals has luxury rentals. Maybe I should look, right? The universe dropped that in front of me. I didn't remember the name Westside Rentals until I saw it. Then I was on Westside Rentals, and then I saw all sorts of different rentals that were not part of the Airbnb family. And then they had better price points. Some of them allowed dogs. So then I landed on the place that I'm recording from right now. And you best believe I was like wild that this is $15,000 a month plus it was either a $9,000 or a $13,000 security deposit that they hold the whole damn time. So you guys can do your own math. That's a lot of money. Plus, there's a major luxury remodel going on that's $300,000. So there's a lot of money going out. So there's a lot of stuff that my brain could feed in, there like, this isn't the time to be doing that. And you're renting. It's not like you're getting any equity in that. You're just renting. That's insane. And I just kept looking at it and I kept looking at it. And I was like, I know there's a way. I'm determined to find a way to make this work. It's not that I don't have the cash for it, but I didn't just want to blow money on something, right? I needed to wrap my head around this new normal dollar amount. But in order to have come up with an incredibly creative solution that I came up with, which is clever as hell, I had to let go of the judgment that kept coming up of who do you think you are to have this? This is so extravagant. You could take all that money and build a full another safe house for sex trafficked women and children. And now you're being selfish, Tiffany, because you could contribute more to your prime charities. And instead, your luxuriating ass is going to be oceanfront like you think you're some celebrity. And you know what I mean? And it kept going with it. And it's like, then I went, oh my God, if my father was alive and he only knew, or even my mom, like they only knew that I would be considering spending this kind of money on rent, they would absolutely think I lost my mind. I was even concerned of going to my estate manager and letting him know, like, because he is really big in real estate investing. And I was like, he is going to think he's going to lose respect for me. I mean, it went really, really deep. And I had to be willing to let go of judgment. Why can't I have the oceanfront beach house? Why can't you have the multi-million-dollar company? Why can't you have the AMG Mercedes that you want? Why can't you live in the mountains where you really want to live? Why can't you quit your job, set yourself up to quit your job and actually pursue something you love doing and helping people and make great money at it? Why not? Why not? Because that judgment, what voice is that? Who does that really serve? It really serves nobody and it serves nothing. So you have to be willing to look at those things, these judgments, and not lean into them. You have a conscious choice to lean into those judgments. Oh, you can't spend that money right now. You don't have the time to do that. Oh, you're going to go take a business loan out for that. Oh, you're going to go rent that house. Oh, you're going to start a business and you don't even have a degree. I mean, all the bullshit that goes on in our heads. And the answer is yes, you're going to do it anyway and not lean into those thoughts. Those are just thoughts. They're not facts. Those are judgments coming from, they're called judgments for a reason. They're judgmental. It's coming from the Judge Judy in your brain. Well, fuck Judge Judy. Last time I checked, Judge Judy isn't paying your bills. In fact, Judge Judy is keeping your ass stuck. So fuck Judge Judy. All of my listeners that are outside of the US are like, who the fuck's Judge Judy? It's basically white trash TV that if you stayed home sick from school back in the day, well, she's still on, but like you stayed home sick from school, there's those shows that are always on. I mean, there's those like game shows. And then there was like Jerry Springer, which I've interviewed him before. I've met him a few times. He's delightful, actually. There was Jerry Springer. And for sure, there was like People's Court. Who remembers People's Court? There was Judge Judy. And Judge Judy was nasty. So we got to be willing to say, you know what? Those are just thoughts. Those are not facts. You are not a selfish person. I'm not a horrible, self-indulgent, luxuriating, bougie-ass bitch because I'm spending $15,000 a month to be here, and cumulatively, I'm probably spending $100,000 here, and I could have built an entire safe house. Well, you know what? I do a lot of beautiful work in the world, and if I don't make sure that I'm lit up, that I'm passionate, that I'm excited, that my abundance tank is filled up, I'm not going to be able to make all of the impact and do all of the good that I have in me to do in the world at a grand scale if I don't reward myself and honor my desires. It won't be possible. And you know what happens when you invest in yourself on this level? This was an investment in myself. You getting a massage, investment in yourself. You getting a mani-pedi, investment in yourself. You waxing your butt crack, highly recommended, by the way, investing in yourself. You getting a new laptop, investing in yourself. You applying and joining my 6-month mastermind, investment in yourself. you buying yourself that green juice that's totally overpriced and you know it, but it just sounds so good today. Investment in yourself. So look at it of what is this investment? What is the emotional investment, the spiritual investment, the physical investment, financial investment? What am I getting out of this? I've gotten so much out of being here that has nothing to do with money. And by the way, my company rented this place, and we already know that I've had an event here, and I've had some smaller podcasting type events too. And obviously I'm working out of here. So now I have a tax write-off, and I was able to have an event here that more than paid for 2 months of the beach house in profits after the expenses of everything. And physically, I've dropped, and you guys have seen it. I've heard a lot of you guys say stuff to me, and I don't take offense to it. I can see it too. The inflammation in my body is so far down just from being near the water and not doing hardcore workouts and just doing long walks and lots of meditative walks and abundance walks. And my stress is down, so my cortisol is down. So I'm eating ice cream, fries. I'm eating, I don't eat horrible all the time, but I'm not eating perfectly. And I'm getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer. The mental clarity. And now guess what? What it's done for me is also my new normal set point of how much money I'm spending a month. I am desensitized to this $15,000 of extra money a month. I don't even notice it from my account. I really don't. I don't notice it. You know why? Because of how I'm feeling in all these different ways, and because I've invested in myself in this way, in this big scary way, I have made all of that money back and then some. And this is not some pie in the sky bullshit that I'm giving you. No, I'm not about that manifestation life. I don't teach that. I teach realistic manifestation practices. But there's an energy that is so magnetic when you gift to yourself, when you invest in yourself, and that people are attracted to it, opportunities are attracted to it, your sales go up, your creativity explodes, and your bank account ignites. So tell Judy to fuck all the way off, and I'm happy to tell her to do the same, because that is not serving the greater good. That's selfish of you to lean in to that inner critic. That's what's selfish, is to lean into that. It's selfish to not invest in yourself, because that's the only way you're going to show up at a grander, larger scale in the world with your gifts, in which you're going to be able to pay that forward 100, 1,000 times over. And in order for you to grow that big, you've got to invest in big things. And those big things require you investing in yourself. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. If you love this episode, take a screenshot, share it in your Instagram, and tag me at ProjectME with Tiffany. Remember, the applications for my 6-month mastermind are open now. There are only 8 spots left now. So don't procrastinate and start down a path of, I don't know if I should do this. And is this for me? And I don't know how much it's going to be. That's more Judge Judy crap. If you're feeling leaned into it and you're like, God, if I could have Tiffany for 6 months by my side in that kind of a safe container, I can only imagine what I would do. If that feels really good to you, then you should apply. Period. End of story. And if I don't feel like you're the best fit, that this is the best use of your time, energy, and money right now, I will share that with you with love. Because I don't want anyone in there who's not going to get an ROI. That's not a good look on me either, honey. Okay? Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you guys. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.